All right. Midweek Magic is Historic Pauper. So I'm going to be playing through with a bunch of different decks, trying to conserve my wild cards and not go too crazy on all the decks opened up by the Shadows of Innistrad release, because there's a lot of cards I think that you want to kind of play four of and then really improve a deck. So this is kind of one of them that gets an upgrade. So any kind of black control deck really likes the addition of Tragic Slip. I only got one of them in the free 3-packs that you open up when I was lucky enough to get one of them. It's pretty amazing circumstance. But anyway, I think you probably would want to kind of go down on one Whisper of the Dross and two of the Vraskas and max out on the Tragic Slips. I think you have enough ways to turn it on, and you're in this deck. You're really looking for some mana efficiency because these cantrip cyclers to poison the opponent are just so mana hungry that you really want your removal spells to be the efficient spells in the deck. So this is similar to the list. Obviously, I've modified it counting for Attracted Slip, but then I've also modified it because it's best of one. One of the issues with this deck is it really has difficulty with burn decks, or decks that can get quick damage in and then have burn to finish out the game. So I have two cards that gain life in the deck, Cram Session, which is nice for best of one because in best of one it really doesn't matter what your sideboard has. So I just stuffed it with random stuff. I don't think I would ever be casting this multiple times in any game, even against a burn matchup. And then Tendrils. So I have them both. And then because I'm playing with the Tendrils, I'm favoring my mana to favor swamps. And plus, having more swamps means that I'll be able to play these removal spells early on in the game. One of the things about best of one and the fact that the meta is just all over the place is that you tend to want to play decks that have a very proactive game plan, and this is probably on the passive side. It's probably the most passive you can be with still probably being viable. It's just the benefit of poison is you get a hard counter spell. And I really think that if without a hard counter spell, there's just so many different types of decks that you really couldn't play the game without a hard counter spell in a control deck. The other decks I'll be playing have much more of a proactive game plan, but I think this is as controlling as you can get with not having. And then the whole benefit of this deck is, I'm not playing any creatures means that decks packing creature removal have it dead in the hand, and obviously in best of one they can't side it out in the next matchup and you're on to the next round. So we'll play, and then hopefully people stay in the game. See, that's the other issue with control decks is people don't want to play out the whole game against you, and they'll just move on to the next match. But we'll see if we can get any. So let's get started. I literally have not started at all. This will be my very, very first go round of this Midweek Magic. But like I said, I'm going to be playing a lot of matches. You can see all my historic Pauper decks. It's picking up the other Pauper formats that I play as well. And then all of these I haven't really updated for the inclusions of Shadows and Innistrad. Like there's a mono green deck that I have down here that I'm just waiting to put in the Young Wolves, and then it will be viable. But I'm just hemming and hawing if I want to spend the 4 wild cards for the Young Wolves. So we'll talk about those decks if I get to them. So let me know in the comments if you see any decks. I'll kind of just hover over here for a little while. If you see any decks that are interesting to you and you want me to do a deck tech of and you want me to cover. But I'll probably be playing most of these decks. I like playing them all. I'll even potentially play this deck. The one reason I'm scared of playing it in Historic Pauper is because in the sideboard games it actually just dies, but in best of one you don't have to worry about that. So I might actually play that deck too. Should be fun. All right, but let's see poison control. Let's see if I can keep up with a random aggro deck. Alright, reasonable starting hand. And I got the one of the Tragic Slip, which is ironic. Or not, I don't know if it's ironic, it's a funny coinkydink. So since this is best of one, I'm pretty sure hand smoothing is in effect. So it's also probably why I'm going to get 3 lands in hand most of these matches. So I'll wait to crack my Obscura Storefront, probably until I need to make my last land drop, and I can decide if I want to go for more swamps or get my 3rd island. So then my future Mystic Sanctuaries. I don't know what happened. I think, yeah, okay, there we go. The opponent was just deciding if he wanted to mull or not. Okay, so we got a red deck. So hopefully he plays a 1 toughness creature, and I can keep up with him. Otherwise, it's going to be a little bit tough to keep up. Oh, and no play is also fine with me. So, even though it's a red deck and I probably want more swamps eventually, I really want my Mystic Sanctuary to come in untapped. So I'm going to go ahead and grab an island just to guarantee that I have 3 Mystic Sanctuaries and only one Tendrils. And this is a really good position because he has no board and I have plenty of counter spells, and if he doesn't want to play into my counter spells, I have things to do. I guess I only have one thing to do this turn, and then I'll have to be playing at sorcery speed. Yeah, he just plays in it. So since I can't kill that with any removal spell in my hand, I'll go ahead and counter. Well, it's unfortunate that I drew that. It's unfortunate that I'm missing my land drop, but I think I go ahead and keep up a counter spell for this turn. And then next turn, if I miss my land drop again, I think I'll probably fire off my draw spell. Okay, let's fire off this. So it looks like the opponent's playing some sort of standard deck. So hopefully we have a good showing. So I kind of want to keep up my counter spell, but with his 2 treasures, it's less and less likely that I'll be able to counter. The issue is I prefer to fire off the Augury to hit my land drop, but then the Contentious Plan is sorcery speed, so I kind of almost have to play at sorcery speed anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and fire off this spell, let him resolve whatever he wants to resolve this turn, and hopefully the combination of, well, now these 3 removal spells, hopefully I can answer whatever he drops on the board. So far, so good. Okay, hasty damage. Okay, so 2 spells. Okay, that's fine. So I'll probably, it's a little bit scary if he's going all in. Alright, hitting another land drop is great. So let's go ahead. I could wait till his turn. Yeah, I want to wait till his turn because I potentially would want a hard counter. So then in that case, I'd want a Vraska's Fall in to bring the ending. Yeah, if he does this, though, am I going to let him attack? Let's see. I'm at 10 life, and he has burn in his deck. Let's go ahead and take out one of them, and let's see what he wants to do. I think that's a reasonable compromise. We'll take 3 damage. Or I can kill this right now, and then Tragic Slip his other play. Yeah, you know what? I want to preserve my life total, so hopefully it doesn't have a strong enter the battlefield effect that I would regret. Oh, well, that's even better, nothing. Alright, let's go ahead and use this opportunity to cast my sorcery speed spell. And I can't quite use that and hold up counters, but next turn I probably will use this to fetch a basic out of my deck. Okay, he probably has instant speed burn. Could gain even more life, or I could just kill the opponent faster. I think this game is pretty much wrapped up, but I'll just be safe and I'll basically get this game lasting a little bit longer. Alright, so let's go ahead and fire this off into my environmental sciences, into a swamp. Powering up my tendrils and also allowing me to keep my counter live. So one of the things that I felt out of favor of this deck is you certainly can, because this deck, a lot of the efficient removal spells are the Innocent Bloods, which if you create random tokens and stuff, it can create a little bit of issue. I'll go ahead and let this resolve. I think I'll even let it hit me now that I'm at 16 life, and I'll just hold up my counter in case there's something more relevant. This being in play means my tendrils is turned on, so I can just kill it next turn. And I can keep up my counter spell, so this is probably draw out a concession if the opponent doesn't have an answer. Alright, great. So I think this is all wrapped up now. Just gotta get 5 poison on the board. Yeah, opponent realizes it. Alright, good first game. Yes, I did have fun. Thank you for putting Midweek Magic as Historic Pauper finally. It's been a while. The last time there was a Pauper was for the Decathlon event during the holiday season. It was like right in January and then December. And we'll go ahead and play another round of Historic Pauper, so you guys are the poison control, so you guys can see that deck a little bit more in action against a different deck. I had a really good draw that time. So the unfortunate part about that Pauper event in December or January, I forgot exactly when it was that it was Alchemy Pauper. So it was this weird hybrid format that didn't turn out very good. Well, I mean, it's just limited in the options compared to Historic Pauper. I do have a blue, so I can cast my blue spells, and I have a lot of swamps for my tendrils, so this seems like a really good keep. I have an early removal spell, I have a draw spell, and to start the poison chain going, so let's do it. Other thing is, I gotta be quicker. Like I said, this being just an instant queue type thing, most people don't want to wait around if someone's playing slow, so especially because I'm playing a control deck, if I want to play a full game, I have to play quite quickly. So this round I'll just Innocent Blood, and this is never going to come untapped, so I'll just go ahead and get it down right now. And then next turn I'll be able to... I'll probably fire off the Infectious Inquiry. Okay, so he's a synth deck, and he luckily hit. So he's probably has a lot of low drops in his deck. Well, we'll see how he built it. But being red, I have to worry about removal. I'm going to continue to drop swamps. And let's get the poison train started. Alright. So, this with Core Skyfisher is pretty powerful. Let's see if he has the combo. Maybe not yet, but maybe in the future. Oh, yep, he does have the combo. The unfortunate part is if he drops it right now, he's not going to be able to play, unless he hits a land off of it. He's not going to be able to, yeah, so that's why he picked up that other one. Alright, I do have a counter, but it's not a hard counter, and he has land, low land drops in his deck. So we'll hold up the counter, but likely at the end of his turn, I'm probably going to go ahead and Tendrils, just because I think my other spells are a little bit more flexible on not costing 4 mana. It's the reason why in our best of 3 matches on the server, I'm starting to cut this is because it's so easily answered. But I think in this kind of situation, less people are going to have like the sacrifice effects or the hexproof effects that really negate this card and punish it. Okay, still can't counter anything. I'll go ahead and let all of this resolve. I think the opponent understands, probably have Bring Endings in my deck because I'm a poison deck. Do I kill the Informant? Probably care more about the total life loss, so I think I go ahead and remove that one. Uh-oh. Opponent has instance. Okay, no. Okay, I have 2 instant seed spells. Unfortunately, I can't get the opponent up to corrupted and still be able to counter. So let's go ahead and Infectious and probably play my island. I don't think I'll be able to counter anything, so probably end of turn I'm going to Augury. Yeah. So it's unfortunate that, well, not unfortunate. This is a real deck and that I'm facing, and the whole point of Synthesizer encourages you to play low mana value costing cards, so it will really avoid the issue or the effectiveness of Bring the Ending, unfortunately. But it looks like I'm going to be able to hit this unless he has another untapped land drop. Okay, so I'll go ahead and take what I can get, stem the tide here. Normally I would, because the Synthesizer is better than the Wellspring, but since he already has a Synthesizer in play, it's pretty much equal, and so I just go ahead and counter whatever I can counter. Okay, I need to start Vraska's Falling, but only removes 1 damage from the board. So what I want to try to do is try to draw into a Mystic Sanctuary so I can start looping my Tendrils. So, but I'm not going to be able to play the Tendrils this turn, and the next turn I can draw it. So I'm just thinking if I want to fetch first to thin my deck a little bit before I draw cards. And I think I have plenty of land drops, so I think I'll just go ahead and thin a little bit. Small percentage points here. All right, let's go ahead and draw. Hopefully we get a removal spell. Oh, a gain life spell is fine. All right, I'll just bluff the counter. So I'm holding on to this. This is one of the weaknesses of these sacrifice effects. It's because it feels so bad to use it to just remove 1 damage off the board, but I don't think it's going to get any better. I'm going to have to use a removal spell for the Inspector. All right, that's fine. So I do have the 1/1s that I can make. So that's another thing I can use this for. So I probably can just make the 2 1/1s, or I can just play that. Yeah, let's go ahead and just grab that removal spell. Yep. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so so I think I hold off on the... No, I'm going to be so low on life that I think I use the Cram Session this turn, and then I'm going to Whisper and Innocent Blood. Let's see. Let me check out my sideboard here, my lesson board. All right, don't really want to do this. It costs way too much. I'm going to kill his ground creatures, so it's probably not going to be worth it. So yeah, I'll probably just draw this, but I'm probably not playing it this turn. So let's Whisper, get him up to 5 poison. And then Innocent Blood, and then Vraska's. Yeah, I think this is fine. So Innocent Blood, and then Vraska's Fall him. Then I'm at 11 life, facing only 2 damage a turn. I guess I can wait on this. This is sorcery speed, so it's fine. Yeah, I think I think the small bonus points of getting my opponent to play differently, potentially thinking I have a counter in hand, is worth the equity of having to click through the opponent's declare attackers. All right. So 6 poison, 7, 8, 9. So I just need 1 more before he does 9 more points of damage, and I'm going to gain 2 life as well. Yeah, so I'll Contentious, and then Augury, and then let's see, I have 1, 2, 3. So if I Augury into, if I hit any land drop, then untapped land, then I can hit any 2 mana increase poison, or my other Whisper of the Dross can win it. So there's a lot of cards that win me the game next on my turn. Okay, that's step 1. So let's see if I can draw any 2 mana increased poison card. Yes, let's definitely add to that. Let's go ahead and I guess make sure we're tapping our swamps first. Submit. There. Oh, that's not 2 mana. All right, well, down to the Augury. Now, do I die if I don't hit? He's got 7 points. So if I don't hit, I could Environmental Sciences, I guess. And then it gives me 4 points of buffer. I think that's fine. I think the benefits of hitting are so high here. Nope. So I'll go ahead and take, let's see, does anything die to this? Nope. Sure. Unfortunate. Yes, please. All right. Does he have more than 4 points of burn in his hand? Scary, because he has 2 blind draws here. Let's go ahead and get another island. All right. Might have been too greedy and just wait. I should have waited until next turn. I could have got two damage off the board. All right, I'm going to be at 1 life. Does he draw another burn? If he threw it out on his end step, maybe he sees that the writing's on the wall and he's trying to be mana efficient. Okay, it's funny that I can see what he drew with these. So still, oh, that's lethal. If he knows to re-equip it, which it looks like he's doing because he slammed that down. Yep. GG's. Good games. So I was probably a little bit greedy there. All right. I lied. I don't want to just do 2 games of this deck. Let's do 1 more game of this deck. And see if I can win the best of 3 against random opponents. No, I didn't even check. Well, sorry. You can see how little I play other formats. I didn't even check my my things. I guess I'm accruing my what do you call it? My daily win things. All right, sorry about that. So playing against poison. So a big important thing is to avoid getting any. So you avoid their proliferate spells doing any damage. But unfortunately, he's going to get a hit in with the rat. So when I kill it in the future, it will do damage. So I think I'm grabbing an island. I don't have the Tendrils in hand. I have, the intention of playing multiple blue spells in a turn. So I think for all of those reasons, I got to play. So let's see if the opponent knows where I'm at. I mean, he still might. Sometimes you would just run it into a counterspell anyways, but I think this gives away the game that I'm also on Poison, just Creatureless Poison. I wish I drew a land, but I'm going to go ahead and hold up a counter again since it hit last time. Another benefit of like the whole like mental game of having two turns where you force spike the opponent is kind of like big game. Let's go ahead and let that through. A lot of opponents would like concede to like 2 counter spells in a row. So now he does have Corrupted, but playing creature, like most of the spells that really benefit from Corrupted are like the creature buffs and stuff that matter in creature combat, and the counter spell obviously. But I'm not really going to care about him having Corrupted. I'm going to let him hit one more time with this. So I'm going to be at 5 poison just so I can hold up a counter, and then now I have a clear board at 5 poison, and I have a counter spell in hand. So this should be a good position to be in. Okay, 6 poison. Let's see if he wants to go up to 7 poison too. I think he probably realized that I don't have any creatures in my deck. Unfortunate that this is tapped because I can't make my Bring the Ending into a hard counter, kind of as a surprise hard counter. Okay, so now my Bring the Ending is a hard counter, and I can bring back a spell. Lifelink is not really going to be that relevant. So I'll just probably bring back the Davriels. Sorry, gaining life won't be that relevant. And then this turn, I'm a little bit mana tight, so that's why I'm not going for another... what is this spell? Fall, grab Vraska's Fall. Yes. The counter. Kill this. Alright. Probably should have waited to his turn. Oh, that doesn't do anything though, so it doesn't really matter. I just wasted their turn. Alright. Now we start the draw card train. I have plenty of life till, yep, the opponent recognizes it. Alright, so 2-1 with Poison. Check back in for the next video where I'll go in with the other deck. And again, leave any comments if you want me to see any decks. I like playing most decks. I'm definitely a spike type player, so I definitely like the more competitive. So the goofier decks I'm less down for, but if they're competitive, I like them. I guess I would say I'm probably like a mix between a little bit of a Johnny and Spike, because I definitely like the combo. And so that's probably the next preview for the next video that's coming up. It's probably going to be Zealot. So yeah, check in for that video if you want to see what's that about.